these four, the next sugya, so the Mishnah is completely confusing. But all the Mefarshim, make hagos left and right. So I decided, what the heck, I'll learn it the way I feel like learning it, and it works. Okay, you'll see. It was basically, I was inspired by the Ritbaz, but it's kind of a little bit more of my own also. Shnei Sirei Yom Kippurim. Now, the trick is to assume, in order to make the least possible shinuyim and girsos, this is actually the way the Noam Yerushalmi, and not the Noam Yerushalmi, the Ritbaz learns it, is that Shnei Sirei Yom Kippur, normally I would have thought that's the Soyer LaHashem and Soyer LaHazazel, but it's not. It's the Soyer LaHazazel and the Soyer of the Chatas HaYom, the Soyer HaYom. Soyer HaYom means the Soyer of Musaf, right? So those Shnei Sirei Chat Yom Kippurim, Sheshachtim B'chutz, if they're shechted outside the Beis HaMikdash, is Tani Chayev, that those who say you're Chayev, Shchutei Chutz, is Tani Potter, those who say you're Potter. Why? We'll get to that. Amar Chisda Man Amar Chayev, so Rav Chisda proposes a possibility. Says, what's the machlokas? Man Amar Chayev, Kshekorev Soyer Nasa B'fnim. In order for the other Sirens to be sacrificed, the Soyer Nasa B'fnim must be done first, right? That's the Soyer LaHashem. So then you'd be Chayev in the other two. Man Amar Potter, he who says you're Potter, B'shalok Korav HaSoyer, Shenaseh, and I said this is obviously a typo, it should be B'fnim. So Ritbaz makes this correction. So in other words, otherwise, if the Soyer Nasa B'fnim is not yet done, it's like Mechutz Zman, right? Because it hasn't yet gotten to the stage in the Avodah where it may be sacrificed. So therefore, if you sacrifice them outside, they're not Shchutei Chutz. Rabbi Yosef said, nah, I don't like this. Rav Chisda boy medamosel Pesach. Rav Chisda, he wanted to say that this is like Pesach, that meaning that the Soyer. Now, what he really means is focusing on the Soyer LaHazazel. Soyer LaHazazel is not a korban, right? The Shnei Sirim are the Soyer LaHazazel and Soyer Chatas. So what does he want to say? He wants to say Soyer LaHazazel is like a Korban Pesach. Korban Pesach, if it's not a Korban Pesach, what does it become? A Shlomi. So he wants to say Soyer LaHazazel is like Korban Pesach. It's not a Soyer LaHazazel. It's some other Korban. But the Chatas. But the bottom line is it can't be Shchutei Chutz. That's what he wants to say. But it's not comparable. You can't say it's the same thing. Because obviously in Pesach, it was a korban. And it retains the same korban. It switches from one to the other, right? But you can't say a korban Pesach. And the proof of that is the Amar Rabbi Mon. It's like the Amar Rabbi Mon, even though there's no dal there. Amar Rabbi Tanchor, Lezer, Rabbi Yochanan, Tarvei, and Amar, they both said, Pesach she'iber zmano, a Pesach which after its time, Me'elav ha'im mishtane, it automatically becomes a shlomit. What is a Pesach after its time? It's a shlomit. That's what it is. But here, Shchita mishtane, what? Just because you shechted outside the Beis HaMikdash, you automatically became a korban? In other words, once it was determined to be a Soyer LaHazazel, you can't just say switch it and make it something else. That doesn't work over here. So therefore, it doesn't like Rav Chisda saying that a Soyer LaHazazel you're chayav on. So my kadun, so what does he tackle? So Madam Chayav, he who says Chayav, in other words, how's Rav Chisda going to, how's Rav Yosef going to explain? Now they reject Rav Chisda. So Madam, so he says interesting logic. Madam Chayav, he who says Chayav on both of them, Sarvi Meimar Hagrola Ma'akevis. He holds Hagrola's Ma'akev. So that's to do Hagrola. Oh, so what does Hagrola Ma'akevis mean? It means that really, before the Hagrola, both the animals have to be of the same status. So if they both have to be the same status, so each of them are considered to be a korban, equally so. Right? Well, we'll come back to it afterwards. Moving right along. Rabbi Yosef, as we said, did not like Rav Chisda's comparison. Oh, I didn't even notice. Looking at the first Quran. Rabbi Yosef said didn't like Rav Chisda's comparison. So he said, so let's take it from Maikadum, which is the fifth line down. Maikadum, now, so what's Rabbi Yosef's perspective? So Madamar Chayev, you says Chayev, Sarvi Meimar. We want to say he holds Agrola Ma'akva. So they're Ma'akevis. So therefore, before the Agrola, they're both on equal footing. Which means they're both really Korbanos. So that's why you're chayiv and shchutei chutz both on the soyer of musaf and the soyer lazozo. Man Amar Potter says Potter Sari Meimar and a grow makevs. The older grow is not impediment. That means that really you could just circumvent, if you want to short circuit that grower, and designate the soil lazozo. This means the soil lazozo does not have to be a bona fide roy lekorban, and therefore there's no chayiv v'chiv on shchutei chutz on it. Says the Gemara, I don't like this no matter what, says the Gemara. Okay, let's say our grows makva. The bottom line, though, is that only one of these animals is Hashem Hashem. You can't say just because Zozo was a candidate to be La Hashem, so it makes it La Hashem. You're going to say it's a chatas because of that. So you're right. Says the Gemara rejects Rabbi Yosef's perspective and Rav Chisda's perspective. Rabbi Shmuel Achoid Rabbi Rechia. Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Rechia said, you know what? When it said an Amr Al Chayev on this to both serim, it didn't mean both serim. It meant the truth is, let's switch gears, says Rav Shmuel. He says, really, the two serim we're talking about are the soil Hashem and soil Lazozo, not the soil Lazozo and the soil Chatos. And when it says you're chayiv Hashem, it doesn't mean you're chayiv on both them. It means ozeh. You're chayiv on either one of them. You're chayiv one on either one. Meaning, before the agrola, if you shechted one of these serim bachutz, you're chayiv. You shechted both of them, for that matter. You shechted both of them, it's probably better. You shechted both of them outside, you're chayiv at least once. If you shechted only one, I guess it'd be us. We don't know, because neither of them was chosen for sure. But you shechted both of them outside, even though it's before agrola, you're chayiv on one shchutei chutz. So when it said you're chayiv on shneim, it didn't mean now you're chayiv mamish on shneim, but out of the two of them, you're chayiv on one of them, right? Satzei says, Amar Shubra Achoid Reb Brechia, Ozeh. Mishihigril. Well, that's only before agrola. Once he did agrola, so obviously chayiv al shoshem. That was exactly what was bothering him. He could, even according to Mandamar, agrola's makva. Once the agrola is done, he didn't accept the fact that you can be chayiv still in the soil azozo. So he says, "Ain't chanami." You only chayiv on the soil azozo because you don't know if it's going to be soil azozo, soil Hashem prior to the agrola. After the agrola, you can no longer be chayiv on the soil azozo. It certainly has lost its candidacy to be a proper korban. Okay? On Rabbi Bosses said, Bushanasa matnas por. You know, this is only true if you already sprinkled the blood of the por inside. Avilonasa matnas por potter. If you didn't yet sprinkle the blood of the por, you're potter on either of the serim, before or after agola. Why? Shishchitaso shel soyer ma'keves. Here, the word ma'keves as if it says mi'ukeves. The shchitat shosar is mukeves, is impeded by the matadamo shapar. In other words, you have to first sprinkle the blood of the par and only then do the soyer. So if you shech the soyer shchutei chutz before you sprinkle the blood of par, so it's mechusar zman, you can't be chayim shchutei chutz. He gives you the Pnei Moshe, gives the order of the avodos. Maybe that's helpful. If you take a look in the 3, 6, 7, 8th line down on the medium-sized lines of the Pnei Moshe, he says, Seir avodah shel pnim kach. You see that? In the medium lines. Well, I mean, not including the first level.
So it actually starts getting wide.
Yeah. Last one in line is Seder. Seder avodah shel pnim kachi. Is outside b'tchila mizvada par vidu rishon, v'achar kach magril al hasoir, v'achar kach mizvada al par vidu sheni, v'shochto u'mekabel estamo, v'nosno l'mishim memarisbo, u'machnis kafu machta, that's in the Kodesh Kodashim, nosno bein abarim, u'menoisin es aktoris aleish, v'achar kach toitel dam apor mizeh shememaritz bo v'nichnas l'mokum shenichnas la'aktir kedores v'noisem midam apor al kapores, and only v'achar kach shochet es hasoyer u'mekabel damo v'noisem men al kapores, v'achar kach noisem midam apor al parochos mibachutz, v'achar kach midam hasoyer, v'achar kach ma'ariv domim v'noisem mizbeach hapnimi. So therefore you always have to have the permat and dam of the por prior to the shchitas hasoyer in order to be chayiv. Okay? Raibun Barachia Bo Kumi Rabbi Zira. Yeah, so you asked the following question, a very legitimate question. Shachar the por, what if you did shchutei chutz on the por, which is the first korban of the day, right? Actually, before you did the agrola. Now, Mao Shiyeh Chayiv. Are you chayiv or not? Now, the critical point is, of course, that you shechted the por before the hagrola. The question is whether you're allowed to do that, because, as we just read in Pnei Moshe, the hagrola is supposed to precede the shechita of the por. It comes between the viduim. So the hagrola is supposed to precede it. So what if you did the par prior to hagrola? Is considered mukam mechusar zman, and therefore you're not chayiv shchutei chutz. So it says the Gemara, Amar Lein Ishmina Minado. Let's hear from here. Par ma'akiv is hasoyer. The par must necessarily precede the soyer. However, the next word is a typo. It should be not hasoyer. Says the Gilin Ephraim and Noam Yerushalmi, which should be ein hasoyer ma'akiv is hasoyer. The par must come before the soyer. The soyer doesn't have to come before the par. Adam Raz teaches us shachar as a par shlo higril, since the soyer need not precede the par. So therefore, if you shech the par prior to doing hagrola, you're chayiv, right? Because in Tamar Potter, if you're going to say that you're a Potter, that you're exempt, so in this day, then the only reason we could be, and we would have to learn that, again, here's a typo, a sawyer is ma'akiv is a part. You have to tell me that a sawyer is necessity in order to do the part, and that obviously is not the case. Okay? Amar Yeshua bar Avdi Me'el Adot the Tamar in a sawyer ma'akiv is a part. You don't have to do the sawyer, the agrola, before the par, the matonos habad, in the matanos which are put inside the Kodesh Kadoshim. Matanos parochas, but in the matanos done on the parochas, the soyer makiv is important. You must do the avodas of the soyer prior to doing the avodas of the por on the parochas. Hey Chavira, what does it mean? As I say, you cannot put the blood of the por on the parochas until you put the dam of the soyer between the poles of the yarn on the inside first. Okay? How bad was that? Not bad at all, right? Okay. Kosher lotion shows always. Then you tied a red thread, on the head of the soyer, which is being sent la'azazel, and midu keneged beishlucha, you put it opposite where you're going to send away from Yerushalayim. L'nishchat keneged beishkedoso, and you put the one which is going to be shechted opposite where it's going to be shechted. Boloitz a parashnia. Here we see you came back to your bowl. The samach shteyod alav, and you put your two hands in it. V'yisvadi, v'yidu, v'kacha, and this way you say. Oh, now Shem avisi poshati chotosi v'nechani uvesi ubnei Aaron hakadoshecho. No, now Shem kaper no lav v'yinas v'guma gomer. Rashuam Rav Nachman Shem B'Yedus said we also had this in the Bavli. Shlosha Shona saying there are three gradations in the type of string we use. Shows soyer, the one uses soyer lives also b'sela cost the seller. The show matzora the cost b'shekel, which is slightly less. Half, I think. The shopara, the one of the para aduma, that's very expensive. A base loin would cost 2 sloim. Or the shopara is even more. The base loin mechz is 2.5 sloim. Why? Because East of Mafkin Lishna, there are those who express the same concept. It's like Yesh Omrim. There's some who express the concept, Yud Zuzim, base loin was actually 10 zuz, right? Because the base loim mechz is 10 zuz, because each cell is 4 zuz, and then there's another half that makes it 10 zuz. Maybe they want it to correspond to the 10 spiros, I don't know, but there must have been some reason to have 10. Okay. The shachta v'kibo b'mazik is done. They shechted the par, the bowl, and they put its blood into a container. Nasa Mishim Maris, both they gave it to the guy who was stirring it. I'll rove it or Ravish Beichel on the fourth row in the Heichel. And what it's going to say it wasn't actually in the Heichel. Kadesh Loiko Shoy that should not congeal. Not as a machta. He took the shovel. All Rosh Mizbech and he went up to the top of Mizbech. Now this is not actually, as we learned this morning, that it's not to the main Marocha, but there was a separate Marocha for the Ktores. So he went up to the Marocha of Ktores. Upina Gecholim Elchel, he pushed aside the right. I said this morning. And then he would take a shovelful of the inner ones that are already red hot. You already go down and put the shovel down also on the fourth row in the Azor. Says the Gemara, this is a way to read our Mishnah on the four row of Azor. Then Reish also. They didn't keep the blood stirring to not coagulate in the Heichel. They did it in the Azor as well. It's interesting. The Bavli and the Yerushalmi have two different approaches to this Mishnah. I don't know if it's meaningful, but the Yerushalmi says let's just change how to read the Mishnah. The Bavli doesn't do that. It says that Rover V by Heichel. It says means Rover V Shesheba Heichel means Rover V from the Heichel out, not in the Heichel itself. So there's a difference of opinion as whether we can change the Mishnah or not, it seems. Okay, just a thought. Chofan bifnim. Potter. What if the Kohen Gadol instead of doing the chafina, which is to stick his hand into the ktores and pick them up, so what if he does this chafina inside, I don't know, I guess the Kodesh Kodashim. The chafina was supposed to be done in the courtyard, right? He stood out there, they brought him some ktores, and he stuck his hand like this. What happens if he did it inside the base kachim? He didn't actually do the chumlo chofnav until he got there. So the Gemara says he's potter, so no specific prohibition we can attach to him. Chata v'hiktim. However, this is a nice lumdisha series of events. The guy, he took the shovel full of coals and he put on his back. And in the meantime, the other guy was sitting there, stirring the blood that it shouldn't coagulate. That blood spilled out. What do you do then? So you have paracher, you bring another bull, you use its blood as the entree into the Kodesh Kodashim. But it's interesting, you don't have to do the Ktoris is not rendered unfit. Even though you're supposed to do the chafina when there's a dead bull and its blood is being stirred to coagulate, if it turned out that bull was traded for whatever the case may be, right, or the blood spilled out here. That's actually the case. The blood spilled out here. So nonetheless, it's okay. Because at the time you did the chafina, even though the pyre which is there is not ultimately the one which is going to be brought to fruition, but there was a pyre they were working on. It's not that it's supposed to be this specific pyre. It has to be that there's a pyre they're working on. Okay, let's say in that case. What if before they did the whole Ktav Voda Ktoris, then the blood was spilled? So there's no blood spilled actually when they were doing the Ktoris, period, right? The blood was not present. So then, that's a problem, right? If that's the case, so taking the shovel full of coals was a improper gesture. It's got to go back up and take more coals and start from scratch. Now, what happens? You don't know. You don't know if he did that before the blood was spilled, which would be okay. Or you did it after the blood was spilled, and therefore the actor was okay. So Lavi Paracher Velikot is Bedoma to bring another par and go in with it based on the fact you already did one you already did the chasia, whatever it's called here. shoveling, right? So Lavi Parachim because of Doma Enad Yochol, even though he already did the shoveling, because Shani Yermach Lo Hiktir, because maybe you didn't do the shoveling properly, maybe before you did the Aktorah, the blood was already spilled. The Chatia Psul, the Chatia is possible. Mutzarch, and he has to redo the Chatia again. And vice versa, Lochus Kitchila. Okay, so just go do the Chatia again. That he can't do Einat Yochel Shani Yomer Mishik in the Shpachadav. Because maybe the other side is true. Maybe after the Aktorah the blood was spilled. The Chasia Kshera, in which case it would be a valid Chasia. Over Mishumach Nosi is here. And what's the most terrible thing about that is that you're going to enter the Kodesh Kodashim an extra time. Because you start the process from scratch means that you have to enter the Kodesh Kodashim again. So that's Achnos Shlo Tzorach. Says more, Ubatlu Avodos. And we reached an impasse. We don't know what to do with the avodas of the day. Says more. Yeah. Asher Samar Batlu Avodah Shlo so you talk of the blood spills, you're up the creek, you can't do anything, catch 22. Whatever you do, you're stuck, right? If you bring another part, maybe you don't have to. Maybe this one was already good. You don't bring another part, maybe you do have to. Maybe this one was not good. I guess you do many things out tonight, but that's the bottom line you have to do. Right? Basically the whole voter shot, and you have to do things out tonight, taking into account all possibilities. Okay, Shochat Umeis. Now what if instead of the par getting, the blood of par getting lost, the Kohen Gadol dies in the middle of the Avodah in Yom Kippur? As probably happened in the second base of Mikdash, right? Somebody else go with the blood of his parents, the Kodesh Kodashim. Now, my knee-jerk reaction would have been to say no, because it says it's his personal kapar, right? Kaper ba'adiu vad basi, whatever the language is, right? So Shimon ben Lakish Amar b'par avolo b'tam. Shimon ben Lakish says that you can go with somebody else's bull, but not with somebody else's blood. And it's too late. Even somebody else's blood, the Kohen Gadol accused him because it's a collective kapar, really, even though he personally. Rabbi Bob Shem Adam Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Bob Shem Rabbi Yechon, Mafilu B'dam, even with blood. I skipped one. Rabbi Milson, Rabbi Shua ben Levi, Amar Filu B'dam. Rabbi Shua ben Levi says even the blood is okay, even the blood of somebody else's. Adam Rabbi China, Rabbi Baba Shem, Rabbi Yeshua, Afilu B'dam, even the blood suffices. Rabbi Shua ben Levi Shua, how do I know this is true? That Rabbi Shua ben Levi asked, holds the same, because Rabbi Shua ben Levi asked, Shua Chafanu Meis. Chafinu was when they took the curls like this in their hands. So Kohen go there, then he dropped dead. Ma'oshi konas b'chofnav mace. And somebody else uses his measure in order to go in. Ma'oshi konas b'chofnav, period. So it says, why do you ask about chofnav? L'chsivim lo chofnav. I'm reading it wrong. Why do you ask a question about chofnav? L'chsivim lo chofnav? Because it says his chofnav. But here, where it says, well, I still read it with the wrong friend. There he asks a question because it says, so maybe somebody else's chayfen doesn't work. It doesn't say he has to go with its blood, so therefore it means that the blood can be switched. If one Kohen Gadol didn't do it, the other Kohen Gadol may do it in his stead. Okay. Every day used to use a silver shovel. And pour into a golden shovel. Today they would take the coal, they would stir the coals with a golden shovel and and used to use that same shovel to get into the Kodesh Kodashim. Every day used to be used to scrape the coals with 4 kav, measure 4 kav, and then you would pour all the coals into a container which held 3 kav and lose 1 kav in the process. However, today he takes a measures for the old 3 measures. Uvoya Machlis, he doesn't pour it out, he takes it in directly. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi says, every day you used to take twice the 3 kav. Mar b'soch shlosh kav, put into container shel 3 kav. Vayom, and today chayse b'shlosh kav. Today actually uses one which holds 3 kav to begin with. Umoya machlis b'chol yom. I'm sorry, Voya machlis, and that he used to go in the Kodesh Kodashim. Choyma is the kveda. Every day the shovel was heavy. Vayom kal today was light in order to have some rachmanis and klein gadol. B'chol yom ha'isa yod the every day that is short handle. Hayom yod yaruka today had long handle, more insulation. B'chol yom ha'isa zav yorok today every day the gold was greenish yellowish. Vayom Adam today was red. Divrei Rabbi Menachem. Yeah, I noticed that. Yes, as a matter of fact, early next week we'll hopefully surpass. But right now, tonight we're also going to be 15 block behind in Yerushalmi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Technically, we should catch up around Rosh Chodesh Sivan. But we might catch up even earlier. But that's when Shkolim is over. We'll catch up with it. Okay. Karatina Tavon. We learned over there. Mispazmin a kavke choli make up of coal scattered or imachab the lamo uses the wipe them in not wipe sweep into the irrigation canal. The Shabbos equivalent of his pascatar and Shabbos is to cover them till Mitzvah Shabbos. Choyim is the creator. Every day was heavy. Mount Collins, today was light. Shlo Yav in order not to cause him toil and difficulty. So every day it had a short handle. Vayom they had long handle. Shlo Yav in order not to cause him get tired because he could put in his crook of his arm. Every day wasn't even one short amma long, the handle. Today the handle was an amma mechza high, long. Kadesh today, as I said, Kadesh today Azor Messiah, in order to be able to put it in his elbow, in his armpit, whatever. Every day didn't have a handle. A sheath, literally, but the sheath here is a handle. And today it had a handle, in order that he shouldn't get burnt. Now, the interesting question, I don't know whether Bobby didn't answer this question. We talked about when we learned in the morning, but leather handles chatzitza, right? It's like wearing a glove and you do avodah should be prohibited. So Rabbi Yisrael Kova Masper, you nail the leather on, and when leather is nailed on, it becomes part and parcel of the garment.
Put the leather.
I mean, not the garment, the keli here.
Put the leather.
Think like a baseball bat or a hockey stick. Hockey stick, I know better, right? So you tape up the hockey stick, right? So the tape becomes part and parcel of the stick, right? So here too, it's the same thing. If it adhered to it, they didn't have adhesives. They just had the metals, the nail. That would be the same. That would be suffice. They ain't part and parcel of cliches. Okay, right. It says in Ravina, used to nail it in. Shiva Zoyim, there's 7 types of gold. It's not exactly the same as they had in the Bible, though it's similar. No, there were 7 there too, but not the same 7. Not the same 7. And then we said 5 types. 2 is a possibility. Shiva Zoyim, Zav Tov, good gold. Zav Tar, pure gold. Zav Sarga, closed gold. Zav Mupaz, it means Zav Muzukak, refined gold. Zav Sachut, beaten gold or spun gold. Zav Parvim, the gold of the Parvim. Alright, what are all these? Zav Tokimashmo, as says in Pasuk, Zav Aratzitov, land of the gold in that land was good. Rabbi Yitzchak said, Tivui Dov, basically it's good gold to have at home because it's good investment. And Tivui Dov of us, it's good gold to accompany you on the road because your merchants will see it and take it and accept it as cash. Woe to the highwaymen who sees it, that'll make a problem, but generally speaking, it's a good thing. Bein Chaytis, not Chaytis. I'm ready to say, Munkavu b'masmer. Yes, Did I skip? I went back. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Zav. We're in Zav. Sorry. Sean forgot. Sorry. Zav Parvim is Zav. Sorry. I don't know what that means. I mean, it's a tea with the, they say tea with double S. It's good to have this at home. It's good to have it accompany you. Zav Torah Shmachliso, or Zav Torah is pure gold. You put it into fire, but it doesn't, there's no more dross to come out in the fire. It says, Ma'aser Menorah Zav She'asa Moshe B'Midbar. It's a Ma'aser, nobody knows exactly what's happening. We have this elsewhere in Shas, Menachos and Bavli. But it says the Menorah of Zav that Moshe made, it got an imperfection somehow. Whether it had it when they made it, or the imperfection came somehow later on, maybe because I don't know exactly how it happened. But anyway, it was too heavy. It didn't fit the parameters, right? So, but vice you say dinar zav was too large. They saw the kosh money play they put into the furnace 80 times. L'chasa klum. There was no runoff, no dross which ran off. Why is that? But kiviyos stock is good. It's true. Ad lo yakum abore until the gold is refined. Before it's clarified, l'chasa sagit loses a lot when it's heated up. Midukayim abore, but once you refined it, like Moshe Rabbeinu did, of course, then l'chasa klum. Then it doesn't. It's very hard to get any impurity out of it, and therefore doesn't lose its volume from one firing to the next firing. It's volume more its weight, I guess. Says the Gemara. Zav Sagur. Now the Bible explains, so the Shabbat doesn't bring down that when they used to sell that gold in one store, all the other stores used to just shut down shop because they had nothing to offer. Compare this. Zav Sagur Sheh Machsi, and because it was radiant. Machsi means it was brilliant, and here it means a double language. It also embarrassed. Machsi Bad calls all the gold workers were more embarrassed because it was far superior to their product. Show you some. Alright, sure, but Rav Yitzchak, see it says Shivas Lofin Kikar Kesem Zuchka. There was 7,000 measures of purified gold, but two akira sabais to panel the walls of the Beis Hamikdash. Uksiv it says it's called by Sipo Zav. It says he completed the entire house, Beis Hamikdash, with gold. I made a mistake. Yeshiva Slavi Kikar Kesef. Silver. Mezukak Latzvakir Savais. So that says silver. Ksiva is called by Tzipazov. That's gold. It's a contradiction. Fatamar Achain, so I can say silver. Elisha Machsi Bad Kozov and embarrassed all the other gold which was there. It was Zahav Machsi, which embarrassed so fine. Zahav Upas, Rabbi Prupatruke, Achud Rabbi Dos Shem Rabbi Barbina, Dumia Le'esh, Mupapaz is some language of fire, so the fire made with sulfur. So it says, Dumia Le'esh Mitzatas Begarpes, it's like fire made with sulfuric acid. Rabbi Avin L'Shem Mekomo Nikros of Me'upaz. It's called refined gold, not because it's refined, which would be perhaps the previous interpretation, but because it comes from the city of Upaz. Zav Mekukok. Zom Kukok is an interesting custom. Don't ask me how this works. Okay? Don't ask any questions. Shemechatkim also kizesim. They would cut gold bars into the size of kazayis. The tachim also botek, and they would cover the gold in dough. Umachilin also lenamios, and they would give the dough mixture to hyenas to eat. Vein misan also some. Their digestive system would clean the gold and make it particularly valuable. So this is the system they used to create Zahav Mizukak, the digestive system of the hyena. Some say the issue should turn also Zevel Shiva Shonim. They used to put it into a fertilizer for 7 years. Period. Zav Shalchut, that means pliable gold. You could pull it like or or shape it like gold, well, not like gold, like wax. Okay, so obviously it's a very high madrig of gold. It's very chashuv if it's that. I don't know this for a fact. I'm just surmising the Gemara that if you can extrude it in any different direction, so that's very, very expensive gold. I don't know why it's different than gold thread. But that's what it sounds like. So Naaman, and that's the Gemara stresses by saying, Adrinus, Hadrian, Hoylo, Mishka, Beitza. In all his empire, he had a Beitza worth of this absolutely fantastic gold. Duclatinus, a later Caesar, dinar. He had a dinar's worth. Dinar Gundion, Gordian dinar's worth. Okay, Zav Parvim, what's that? Shemilaka Shamar Odom, it's red, Dumina Domo Shapar, like the blood of the part. Some say Zav shows the Paris is a miraculous occurrence which we learned about previously. Kalatinamon, like it says over there, they made a golden vine of the opening of the Eichel. Put all sorts of trees inside of it. When the real trees outside make peros, so these two most appears to make food as well. Although this seems that's how it says, Parach Tifrach, they will blossom, the Toga of Gilas and rejoice, for Renan and give praise. Amosai, when is that? When Yovshu, after the trees have become dry and then came back to life. It's not talking about that, oh, no. I'm sorry. He says, when do we lose these trees? When Menashe put the idol in the base of Hamikdash, then Yavshu, all these trees shriveled up and died. See if it says, Porach Levana, flower of the Lebanon, moving to the base of Hamikdash, Umlau has become forlorn. Okay? I think in the Bible it said that it was until the Churban, but I don't remember exactly. Alright. Every day you used to do a measure of Kedoros in the morning, a measure in the afternoon. You would have the double handful, which you used to take in the Kosh Kedoshim. Every day it was fine. Daka super fine. They would go up on the east side, come on the west side. Today they would go up in the middle. Sun come down in the middle. And Kohen Gadol always goes up in the middle. Comes back down in the middle. Every day the Kohen Gadol would sanctify his hands and face from the kior. And now it was from a pitcher made out of gold. They used to use or advise using the golden what? Yeah, the Kohen Gadol. What did I say? I'm sorry. You'd always use a golden pitcher. You wouldn't use the kior that was not lefik kloido. Okay, Pidum Aktoris. This is a brisa which appears in davening. Pidum Aktoris. Hatzori v'atziporin. Hachelban this way to Haydir Aktoris. Hatzori v'atziporin. Hachelban avalvana mishkal shivim shivim more. And if you want translation, look in the article. Right. More, even a Birnbaum. More Tzia Shemos Neilu Karko Bishagalis Shos Mana Koshne Mosar Kilu Vashlo Shoki Namoti Shonim Teisomer. So you come out saying Shlosh Shemos. So if you count all the monim there, you have 365 monim. Shlo you connected to Mosar Shana. Of course, those all mixed together, but that was just a comprising. Ushlosh, so 365 plus Ushlosh Shosam 3 of that day. Although it's here, that's not what you learned. Vayoyim Mosi Meluchotnov today there was an extra amount of Torahs. Period. Karshina Tisha Kabin Karshina with 9 measures of Yen Karpis and Shlosha Soin. Shlosha Kabin. That's 3 saw and 3 kab of that Yen Kafrisin Cyprian wine. Yen Sham Imen Shielo Yen Kafrisin. Maybe Chamar Chivarin. I think you bring old white wine. Melstomis Rova Male Oshon Koshu Rabbi Nosson Rav Kippah Sayadin Koshu is a type of flour which grows in the Jordan River. Koshu Nosson Ba Dvash Psol, if you put in a honey, that's it, it's bad. Chisra B'Chasikom Mesona, if you leave on out, Chai Mitzvah, you're liable to death. Parashin Omer, Atzori no L'Sof Shalat Tektaf. Atzori is a sap from the Ktaf tree. Bright Kashira Lama Isa Ba, which is really like a detergent. Shabba Shavis Pan, they used to use it to rub Tziporin to make it clean. I don't know what Tziporin is exactly, but it needed obviously to make it clean. They should know it made it nice. In Kafisin Lama Ba, why is the Cyprian wine come? Shabba Shornets Pan, use it to soak the Tziporin. Mineshi also because it's too strong. Aloma Erglania female cat you soak in urine. It's not proper. Uksha made a when. Right, I know. Because ours is from the Bavli, it's not the same price. It's just similar. Uksha made it when he used to pound the stuff. Ayoma used to say verbally, Hode Ketev, Hetev, Hode. Hode Ketev, it says here. They shall call you after the son because voice is good for absorbing. Right. Now, if you left part one of it out, or Shanos Bomat Bash, you put in some honey, or Sipsul is possible. Lonasa, let's talk about what if you didn't put salt into it. Oh, should be Shalonasa, let's talk about Leoshon. Nischai Miso. Now, it's only on Yom Kippur, as the carbonator points out. Right, because of Kibanan Eirel Kaporis, so there has to be Malu Oshon on it. But let's say regular day, they brought in those craftsmen from Alexandria to take over. Obviously, the craftsmen didn't have Malu Oshon. So it's not an impediment every day, but it's an impediment on Yom Kippur. So they brought him back before Yom Kippur because they knew where to get Malu Oshon. Rabbi Zera. If you don't put in the Mali Oshon, and you go into the Beit Kirsh Kadashim anyway, so it's superfluous. You're in the Gan in there, so you're going to be zapped for that. Tani Bar Kapora said, those who fatten, not fatten, who make concoct the Torah Yerushalmi, when they said, you put a little bit of honey in it, nobody could withstand the smell. However, it's not the case. Time learned if you only did a half measure of Torah, say for 100 days of the year, whatever it was, it's okay. Shlisha Revia, but that's only divided precisely in half. If it's divided in thirds or quarters, Lo Shemar, I don't know if that works. If you make, as long as you make it proportional, it works. It can be Dasa, if you make it proportional, Paisa, Keshera, even if you do it in small batches. That what it says half. It's teaching us that you divide up every samamon based on the series which you want to, based on the amount of Torahs which you need to do, and depending on how much you need for the rest of the year for additional korbanos, etc. Okay, but you can do proportionally smaller. Okay, that's all I prepared for, and we did arrange to